Here are 10 utility cards for your next commander deck. I think these are very swell for, you know, whatever thing you're going for in commander. First, we've got Avarice Dragon flying 4/4 at the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card, so of course that's good. But then at the beginning of your end step, you discard your hand. Guess what? In Angie Falconwrath decks and Rael the Everwise decks, this is actually fantastic. If you want to be discarding your cards, wow, this dragon just stomps. At the beginning of your end step, discard your hand. If those are the only cards you've discarded, Rael just goes crazy, because then you can just, you know, if you discard your whole hand of 7, right, you're gonna draw 7 cards on your end step. I don't know, it can be really cool in these certain decks. I would not look over this. Next, of course, is another dragon. This is Hypersonic Dragon. I love this guy. Flying in haste 4/4, and then you can cast sorceries as though they had flash. This is a little bit of a hidden card from Return to Ravnica, and look how muscular this thing is. It's so cool. Even Niv Mizzet likes it if you read the flavor text. But casting sorceries as though they had flash is incredible. Just imagine the possibilities, especially in blue-red. It gets wild, so I would not overlook this awesome dragon. Next, I mean, of course, is Viceline. You all know about Viceline, right? 2/2 construct. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, Viceline deals X damage to that player, where X is the number of cards in their hand, -4. Now, that might not seem too good, but if you're running Nekusar or Xeris and forcing opponents to draw cards, so yeah, this is just kind of an annoying thing on top of all the annoying stuff that like Nekusar or Xeris does. It'll be pretty tedious for them. Forgotten Creation. I love Forgotten Creation. It's a zombie horror with Skulk, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you may discard all the cards in your hand, and if you do, you draw that many cards. Now, of course, you probably don't want to discard the cards in your hand, but if there's a possibility you do, or you want something in your graveyard, especially in these zombie decks like Wilhelt or something, you can get the cards in your graveyard and then you draw that many cards. I also run this in my Niv Mizzet Perrin deck, where I want to be discarding and drawing cards. Very nice utility piece that's just a great tribe, and it helps out those card draw decks again. Next is the only land on the list. It's Unstable Frontier from Conflux. Taps to add a colorless to your mana pool, but it also taps to turn a land into the land type that you want for the turn, which is really helpful in those 3 or 4 or 5 color decks where you just need that one blue mana or whatever color it is, but you don't have it. This one really helps with that. And later, if you don't need the different colors, it just taps for colorless anyway.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
For 1 white, each creature you control can block an additional creature. I don't know about you, but that's pretty good. This, of course, goes in white, and then you can just block with all your little tokens, and they can block additional creatures, and it's just super, super annoying for people, because they can just block 2 to 1 for each thing. It's just incredible. Now, you probably all know about this guy. This is Gutter Snipe. If you are around in 2019 for Standard on Arena or anything like that, and even before that too. He's prolific in my brain because that's about when I was playing on Arena, when it was pretty big. But whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, Gutter Snipe deals 2 damage to each opponent. That's so obnoxious. In the red-blue Spellslinger decks, Gutter Snipe just goes off, and it's so annoying. And you have to counter, even if you counter the spell, you still get hit by the 2 damage, so you gotta kill Gutter Snipe. Oh man, I love this guy. Ulvenwald Mysteries. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, you investigate, so you just make a clue. You pay 2 and sacrifice it to draw a card. And then whenever you sacrifice one of those clues, you put a 1/1 white human soldier onto the battlefield. I don't know about you, but I love clues, and I also love that they're artifacts, and I also love that you make creatures whenever you sacrifice those clues. So this can be used as just a nice piece of utility to draw extra cards later, especially for green. That's pretty good. And then it gives you extra creatures whenever you sacrifice those clues. It's just kind of like a nice roundabout way of getting cards, but it's actually pretty effective. Curator's Ward. Now, if you have any Enchantress decks, this one's actually pretty nice. I loved the original Dominaria, so this one has a soft spot in my heart. But it's an aura when you enchant a permanent, and the permanent has hexproof. Nice boots effect. But then whenever enchanted permanent leaves the battlefield, if it was historic, so like your commander or something, you draw 2 cards. Sure, it's not exactly reusable, well, unless you're playing Estrid or something, but hexproof by itself is just obnoxious for everybody else. So attaching this to your Enchantress commander is pretty awesome. Last but not least is Gaias Herald. It's just a 1/1 elf. Creature spells can't be countered. Now, creature spells your opponent's control can't be countered either if you have this out. But, let's be honest, you're going to be playing this in an elf deck, but you're going to have like 25 lands and like 17 mana dorks and 12 other elves, and it's just explosive. So more than half your deck is probably going to be creatures, which means everything you cast, if it can't be countered, that's just a great bonus. Plus, this is an elf herself, which means it just builds upon the theme. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what other cards you think are really cool utility cards, and make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss your weekly dose of magic.